Good morning, viewers. My name is Ms. Amutana and welcome to our second program for Accounting Grade 8. The topic for today is the trial balance. Before we start, let us look at the lesson objectives. Define the following concepts, which are trial balance, balance sheet account section, nominal account section, and folio numbers. 2. Draw up a trial balance. Now that we know the lesson objectives, let's get started. A trial balance refers to the list of accounts with their debit and credit balances extracted from accounts in the ledgers to check the correctness of the double entry principle. And when we talk about the balance sheet account section, we refer to the section of the general ledger which includes all assets, liabilities, and owner's equities accounts. Nominal account section is the section of the general ledger which consists of income and expenses accounts, are posted to the ledger account and the reference number of the ledger accounts to which posting was done from the book of first entry. The trial balance is divided into two sections, namely the balance sheet account section and the nominal account section. The balance sheet account section consists of owner's equity, assets, and liabilities accounts, while the nominal account section consists of income and expenses accounts. When recording accounts in the trial balance, you always record the account on the side where the account increases. For example, capital increases on the credit side. Therefore, capital amount will be recorded in the credit column of the trial balance. Let us look at the format of the trial balance. Always start the trial balance with a heading. For example, trial balance of Apple stores as at 31st December 2019. The trial balance consists of the following columns, namely the folio column, the debit column, as well as the credit column. Let us look at the following information and prepare the trial balance. Use the following balances from the books of Orange Stalls for 31st December 2019 to prepare a trial balance. Capital 98,000 Namibian dollars, vehicle 30,000 Namibian dollars, drawings 4,000 Namibian dollars, land and building 60,000 Namibian dollars, stock 2,000 Namibian dollars, equipment 10,000 Namibian dollars, cash 500 Namibian dollars, bank 10,000 Namibian dollars, cash float 1,000 Namibian dollars, petty cash 200 Namibian dollars, salaries 2,000 Namibian dollars, sales 20,000 Namibian dollars, rent expense 1,000 Namibian dollars, rent income 5,000 Namibian dollars, telephone 300 Namibian dollars, purchases 5,000 Namibian dollars, and commission received 3,000 Namibian dollars. Let us then prepare the trial balance from the above given information. Firstly, let us draw the columns of the trial balance, namely folio column, debit column, and credit column. Secondly, let us write down the heading of the trial balance, which is the trial balance of Orange Stalls as at 31st December 2019. Thirdly, let us plot in the accounts from the given balances into the trial balance. We start by writing the heading of the section, which is the balance sheet account section. Under this section, this is where we are going to record the following accounts. We write in the first column capital, and in the folio column we write B1, and then we record the amount of 98,000 Namibian dollars in the credit column because capital increases on the credit side. We move on to drawings, where we write in the first column drawings, and in the folio column we write B2 and record the amount of 4,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because drawings increases on the debit side. We write land and building in the first column, and in the folio column we write B3, and then we record the amount of 60,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because land and building increases on the debit side. We then write vehicle in the first column, and in the folio column we write B4, and then we record the amount of 30,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because vehicle increases on the debit side. We move on to equipment, where we write equipment in the first column, and in the folio column we write B5, and then we record the amount of 10,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because equipment increases on the debit side. Then we move on again to stock. We write stock in the first column, and in the folio column we write B6. We then record the amount of 2,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because stock increases on the debit side. We move on to bank. We write bank in the first column, and in the folio column we write CB1, and then we record the amount of 10,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because bank increases on the debit side. We write cash in the first column, and in the folio column we write CB1, and then we record the amount of 500 Namibian dollars in the debit column because cash increases on the debit side. We move on to petty cash, where we write petty cash in the first column, and in the folio column we write PCB1, and then we record the amount of 200 Namibian dollars in the debit column because petty cash increases on the debit side. We move on to cash float. We write cash float in the first column, and in the folio column we write B7, and then we record the amount of 1,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because cash float increases on the debit side. Please take note that in grade 8 we do not deal with liabilities. Therefore, no liabilities will be recorded in the trial balance. We then continue by writing the next heading of the section, which is the nominal account section. Under this section, this is where we are going to record the following accounts. We start with sales. We record sales in the first column, and in the folio column we write N1, and then we record the amount of 20,000 Namibian dollars in the credit column because sales increases on the credit side. We move on to rent income, where we write rent income in the first column, and in the folio column we write N2 and record the amount of 5,000 Namibian dollars in the credit column because rent income increases on the credit side. We move on to commission received, where we write commission received in the first column, and in the folio column we write N3 and record the amount of 3,000 Namibian dollars in the credit column because commission received increases on the credit side. We move on to purchases, where we write purchases in the first column, and in the folio column we write N4 and record the amount of 5,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because purchases increases on the debit side. We then move on to telephone, where we write telephone in the first column, and in the folio column we write N5 and we record the amount of 300 Namibian dollars in the debit column because telephone increases on the debit side. We move on to rent expense, where we write rent expense in the first column, And in the folio column, we write N6 and record the amount of 1,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because rent expense increases on the debit side. And finally, we write salaries in the first column, and in the folio column, we write N7 and record the amount of 2,000 Namibian dollars in the debit column because salaries increases on the debit side. We then add up all the amounts of accounts recorded in the debit column, which total to 126,000 Namibian dollars, and also add up all the amounts of accounts recorded in the credit column, which total to 126,000 Namibian dollars. Therefore, the debit column and the credit column should always have the same amount. Let us recap on what we have learned today. We have described the following concepts, which are trial balance, balance sheet account section, nominal account section, and the folio numbers. We also learned how to draw up a trial balance, where we looked at the sections in which the trial balance is divided into. Before I say goodbye, I would like to ask the following questions. A. Define the term trial balance. And B. Name the sections in which the trial balance is divided into. Thank you for watching and goodbye.